This is the Project Management Podcast. We bring project management topics to beginners and experts. Find us on the web at www.thepmpodcast.com or send your emails to pmpodcast@gmail.com. Hello and welcome to episode number 48. I am Cornelius Fichtner. This is the Project Management Podcast for the 8th of September 2006. The topic of today is PMOs. To be precise, we will be looking at the challenges that Thushara Wijewardena has in managing a PMO in a Sri Lankan software development company. This is both a continuation of our exploration of PMOs in general, as well as our look at project management in different cultures. Let's start out with some listener feedback.
Hello, my name is Oscar Sosa. I'm from Miami, Florida, United States, and I just want to comment on your podcast. I'm really new to project management. I have a possibility of work on that area, and I just jumped in on your podcast site, and I really loved it. I love the tips, the resources, and everything else I can find there. So I really appreciate it, and please keep it up. If I have a specific question in the future, I will submit probably an email. Thank you, Cornelius. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much for leaving us feedback. It's always great to hear the voices of my listeners and not just read your emails. If you too would like to leave a voicemail feedback, it's very easy. Pick up the cell phone or the phone, which is right next to you probably right now, and dial the United States at 206-339-6520. Today's episode is sponsored by the University of California, Irvine Extension. Better, faster, more. We hear this from our stakeholders every day. Do you have the tools to take on these demands? The University of California, Irvine Extension Project Management Certificate Program can give you the knowledge to get your projects done. On time, on budget. To learn more, visit www.extension.uci.edu/PM or call the United States at 949-824-7774. UCI Extension is a Project Management Global Charter member. As always with our sponsors, if you want to visit them, please click on their banner that is displayed on the pmpodcast.com. That way the sponsor knows that you have found them through us. And now here is a listener question from Magesh Puvanantiran. Hello Cornelius, how are you doing? I have been listening to your podcast for about 2 to 3 months now. It is really interesting and motivating. Thank you for your hard work. Here's his question. I'm planning to take up the PMP exam. One of the requirements is to have had 35 contact hours of project management education. Is this equivalent to having 35 PDUs? Or are PDUs only applicable after I get my PMP examination? I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much. Magesh from Orange, California, USA. That's about 10-12 miles from where I am at the moment, actually, right now. Well, I responded to Magesh via email, but I also decided to put this up here on the in the show itself because contact hours and PDUs is something that people who are planning to take the PMP exam sometimes get confused. First of all, look at the PMP Credentials Handbook. The PMP Credentials Handbook is the official source for all information in regards to the PMP exam and what it takes and how much you need of this and how much you need of that. And of course, go to the pmpodcast.com, check out the helpful resources section under PMP Prep. But on page 2 at the bottom of the PMP Credentials Handbook, it is spelled out. These 35 hours, these 35 contact hours of education is the minimum education, minimum project management specific instruction that you have to have had in your life. And pretty much anything in regards to the process groups and the knowledge areas in the PMBOK that you have had seminars on counts. For instance, if you've ever taken a seminar on how to lead teams, that's part of the human resources processes, therefore it counts. Or if you've taken a risk management class, that counts as well. And yes, Magesh, you're absolutely right. 35 contact hours are totally different from PDUs. PDUs is what we PMPs need, 60 PDUs to be precise, every 3 years in order to keep our certification going. Right, in review, the 35 contact hours is what you need before you become a PMP, and all kind of education counts here. And the 60 PDUs is what you need after you become a PMP in order to keep your PMP credential going. Oh, before we get started with the helpful resources today, I almost forgot to mention, of course, if you have a question about project management like Magesh had, please send it my way and I will answer it here on the program. All right, helpful resources, of course. Today's interview is about a project management office, so I am bringing 3 PMO related resources to you. First of all, probably no matter where you are in the world, this first resource is going to help you. This is the All PMO Network. And the All PMO Network is a network of 16, I believe, 16 websites from all around the world that are dedicated to PMO value in the geographical area. Let's see, PMO Africa, PMO Asia, PMO Australia, etc., 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 up to PMO Thailand, PMO USA, and PMO Vietnam. And there are 16 in between, pardon me. And they are focusing on good value information, news bites, templates. They have a knowledge center, they have events, there is a community, we have a forum, there is a bookstore. So there's an enormous amount of information that you can gather on these 16, not 60, websites of the All PMO Network. No matter where you are in the world, if you are a PMO manager or if you're working in a PMO, this is definitely a helpful network of PMO websites. Well, and if you have listened to the last 2 shows, you know that I did an interview with Tom Mokel from 10-Step, and 10-Step, of course, is we're an affiliate. 10-Step also has PMO Step. If you're looking for templates, processes, methodologies for your PMO and you're just starting it up, why don't you check out PMO Step and see if they can offer the tools that you need in order to build it. But before you do that, you should definitely check out the big helpful resource of today. This is really my golden nugget of today. This is the Project Management Office of the State of Oregon here in the United States. And they have just a wonderful website. It is, from the presentation point of view, it is absolutely pleasing. It is nice to look at. It is very well set up, easy to navigate, and a lot of effort and enthusiasm was put into this particular website. You can actually tell that the people who did this love their job and they really wanted to do a good job with this. It is extremely informative, this website, and you know how they always say that PMO sometimes is just a layer of red tape? When you look at this website, you can tell that the PMO of the state of Oregon is not red tape, but they're really focusing on supporting the project managers and the projects in their state with good, helpful tools. Now, first of all, there is an overview about what a PMO is. If you're struggling to explain what a PMO is, check this out. They can explain it. They do explain it very well. They have a 65-page process guide that explains to people how projects are run in the PMO. They have an overview of their process techniques, and they have dozens and dozens of project templates. I just looked at one page of these project templates, and there were 25 just on one page. And they have them sorted by the 5 process groups, according to the PMBOK, of course: initiation, planning, execution, controlling, and closing. And I bet even if you're using the Prince2 methodology, you will find templates here that fit into your PMO, I bet, yeah. And also the good thing is they don't only show you the empty templates, they actually have examples, real life examples that you can look at. This website is really, truly, this is the top of the PMO websites that I have found so far. So I'm a fan of the Project Management Office of the State of Oregon's website. As always, with our helpful resources, if you would like to visit them, why don't you go to the pmpodcast.com, and there is a helpful resources link at the bottom of every episode that will list the resources that I have mentioned today. And now let us move on with the main topic, my interview with Thushara Vijayawardena about her project management office that she manages in Sri Lanka. Now, Thushara is a PMP from Sri Lanka, of course, who has been working in the IT project management for over 8 years. During this period, she has managed many projects in different IT platforms using different methodologies for customers located in many parts of the world. Her experience includes project management consultancy for some of the government and IT sector projects and industry training. Currently, she is working as the general manager of the project management office of a software development company in Sri Lanka. Enjoy the interview.
Project Management Podcasts Feature Interview. Today with Thushara Vijayawardena, Project Management Professional from Sri Lanka.
Hello, Thushara, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, Cornelius, I'm very glad to be here.
And I'm very happy to have you. Now, you are the manager of a PMO of a company which is in the software outsourcing business. What is your greatest challenge in running this company's PMO?
The biggest challenge I see is that handling various types of projects and customers simultaneously. When you look at the nature of the projects we do, sometimes they are in different technologies and they are coming from the different parts of the world. It's not just like an in-house IT department and a PMO like what you think. Some customers go to the extent of demanding specific PM methodologies for their projects. There are times we have to use agile methods due to the nature of projects we get, or use a PMBOK method for well-defined projects. I had some past experience that some customers insisted us to manage their projects using Prince2 because it's the standard method of project management in the organization. So in this case, generalizing templates, maintaining consistency, and mentoring project managers is very challenging. And when you take multiple project management, sometimes 2 projects have customers in 2 different time zones and different cultures. Their expectations are different. So when assigning a project to a project manager, we have to be very careful. We have to think of all these aspects. When we come to remote communication, that's another big challenge. When we talk face to face, we communicate message through voice, body language, or facial expression, and so on. But when it comes to remote communication, most of the time it's through communication tools. So you try to understand the exact meaning of the word you see. I think you know what I mean, right? Sometimes this leads to a lot of misunderstandings unless you are a very well experienced project manager in handling such projects. So these are the main challenges we face in this environment.
Does that mean, since your company has to have projects executed agile, PMBOK, Prince2, that you have various project managers? Some know Prince2, some know agile, or how do you manage that?
Actually, yes, we have a mix of skills. And the same time that one project manager get used to agile as well as process-driven methods. So it's depending, because I think it's always depend on what customer needs. So they have to do it.
I know that you previously worked as a software development manager before you took on this PMO. How did you prepare yourself in order to set up the PMO that you're currently working for?
The first I tried to understand the project issues I had with the existing setup, and then I went through many PMO resources, books, toolkits, PMI guidelines, so on. I read a lot in order to get a very clear idea. Then I talked to many professionals around the world who had experience in real PMOs, and I learned a lot from them.
And how did you integrate all these different methodologies that you have to use into the PMO? I mean, Prince2, Agile, PMBOK, that's not easy.
Actually, to set up the PMO, I used more or less the PMBOK process. Then as and when the requirement came, we just changed from one method to another, and we tried to generalize whatever the templates we have, and we just tried to do our best.
What would you do differently today if you had to set it up again?
That's a good question. First, I must say that I'm working in a very small PMO, especially when I think of the size and the resources I have. But I see somewhat results today for being more methodical in all the aspects of the projects. Now we do not forget to complete lessons learned and all the jazz in project management, And reporting structures and templates are very well defined now. We have accidental project managers as well in our setup, but almost all of them are following standards now, and I find it's easy to control the whole process now.
And let's go back to when you were a software development manager. You chose to move into a PMO. Why did you decide to move away from that role and become a PMO manager?
Honestly, that idea came to my head when I went through my PMP studies. I wanted to work in a PMO. I read a lot about PMOs and discussed with some of my online PM friends. It was very fascinating to me, at least at that stage. Unfortunately, in Sri Lanka, PMO is not such a popular concept in organizations. Then at that time, I changed my employment, and I told my new employer that we need to set up a PMO in order to overcome most of the project management issues. And then we got to be focused on project management, because it's very important for a project-driven company like ours. So finally, we agreed to set up a PMO, and I had to take over the responsibility of it.
Why do you think that PMOs are not such a popular concept in Sri Lanka?
Maybe the management style and the culture of senior management and other people. People here still look at it as an overhead and an additional layer of bureaucracy to the organization. But I hope this will change soon.
Was it helpful for you, having been a software development manager and then having to set up a PMO in a software development environment? Were you able to implement your know-how?
Yeah, definitely. As a software manager, I had a real vast exposure to the industry. I had to do some pre-sales work, some involvement for technical work, and then to look after project budgets, and almost everything happening in a software development company. I have been working as a project manager for many years too. So all these really helped me when I was to set up a PMO. Because of this experience, I knew all the real issues related to project management and in and out of technical issues and their limitations.
We have chatted via Skype for about half a year now, and during one of those chats, you wrote, "Before today, I have been a software development manager, but when I think of it, actually, that was like running a PMO." What did you mean by that?
Yeah, as I said before, as a software development manager, I had to do basically program management, and then I had to get involved with overall stakeholder issues, project issues, and guide some project leaders. Then I had to introduce and implement standards on projects. So there are some similarities I see in these tasks.
Now, let's move over to a totally different topic for a moment. You are also the author of a blog which can be found at projectized.blogspot.com. What do you write about?
I write about all the aspects of project management and project office management. And I thought through my blog, I should give some publicity to other professionals who does PM work, because there are a lot of great people out there who deserve it. And sometimes I go out of the topic too.
Exactly, you go out of the topic. Tell us about the UFO story. What is it with the UFOs in Sri Lanka?
I think you read my blog too much. Do you?
Yes, I occasionally stop by.
Yeah, it was a crazy thing. Me and my few colleagues have some craziness towards space stuff, UFOs and ETs. That day some TV channel reported about a UFO site in Sri Lanka. So basically we were planning to have a welcome party for them, like what you see in Independence Day movie. We had good fun till I checked my mail the next day.
Yeah, you must have received a lot of emails there, I understand.
Yeah, too many people were asking about it. So there's no more ET post.
Let's go back to project management here. Your next personal step is that you're going to start a research project titled Multiple Project Management in Project Outsourced Environments, and this is hopefully going to lead to your PhD in project management. What is this research? Yeah, what is your research going to include?
I wanted to see the methodologies practiced for software project management in this context and see how practical they are, the issues we have with these methodologies. And I know there are great methodologies out there, but the question is, there are issues with these methods when it comes to this environment of project management. So hopefully I want to come up with a new project management framework which is specialized for multiple project management in outsourced project environment. I can give you more details on that on another day.
Okay, but how did you decide on this topic? How did you think of it?
Okay, me and my supervisors really discussed this many times. As much as we thought, we came up with too many ideas. So I talked to other people who does great work in project management, people like Bill Bates, Derry, and I think I discussed it with you as well. Then after that, I decided on this topic as this is more related to my experience, and we see there are lots of practical issues in this environment. So I think it's the best topic that I have selected.
What university are you doing this with?
Yeah, it's Colombo University School of Computing.
Why did you not choose a PMO topic? After all, you work in a PMO.
Good question. One thing is that to find research data over here will be very difficult. As I said, PMO and project governance is not a very hot topic over here. The other thing is I wanted my topic to be more related to software project management in outsourcing environment.
Even though PMO doesn't seem to be a accepted concept in Sri Lanka, do you know of any other IT PMOs? And if you do, what's the difference between your PMO and their PMO?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I know very few. If you ask me the difference, there are differences, I say yes. When you really look at the type of PMOs and their differences based on size and maturity.
Yes, that's a great segue, because maturity would have been my next question for you, because I recently did a podcast, on project management maturity models. What is your opinion about these kind of models for PMOs?
Yeah, measuring maturity of a PMO is very subjective. So I do not know, what is the exact maturity model and how you measure it in your PMO. But I think it's really important. Otherwise, you never know how well you do with your PMO and how you should progress with it and so on.
If you look at your own PMO, what would you like to change if you could?
Actually, it's the people skills of my project managers. I think it's very important, and I had to really improve on that.
How would you improve on those people skills? What would you do in order to improve them?
It's basically training, actually on-the-job training.
Now, let's close the interview here, the first part. What would you say is the number one thing that project managers who have offshoring teams in Sri Lanka, someone like me here in the United States or anywhere else in the world, what does this project manager have to do in order to make an offshoring project with someone like you in Sri Lanka successful? How does this have to work?
When you work on offshoring, most of the time you got to work with another culture. So you got to respect each other's culture, the working ethics and attitudes. I think that's the key to success. And it makes your life very interesting.
How do you mean it makes your life very interesting?
Yeah, because you have to explore the other person's culture, and then you will learn if it's not English and if it's another language like Greek or Urdu or any other language, that you start speaking few words of that language, and then you really get to know, their culture in and out, and it's really good. It's interesting.
All right. Well, are you ready to move on to the final 10 questions?
Yeah, I hope so.
You hope so. Well, these are the same 10 questions that I ask all of my interview guests here. So, let's get going. Number 1, what was your favorite project?
A few weeks ago, me and my 3 colleagues did an educational portal. Actually, it was outside of our normal business work, and it was a very small team, but lots of great work. That year, we won National Best Quality Software Awards for that project, and that's my favorite.
Number 2, what project would you like to have managed?
You mean my dream project, right?
Yes.
It's like a space project, something like what you see in movie, like Armageddon or Apollo 13.
Building a UFO, I guess. Number 3, what is your favorite project management book?
It's a very difficult question because there are many good books for different aspects of project management. But if I select a book for new PMPs, new PMs, I would select the book Now That You Are a PM by Basdipa. I just read a copy of it and I think it will be out very soon.
Yes, I actually have an interview scheduled with him to come on the show and also introduce the book
that
to
would
all
be great.
the listeners. Yeah. Number 4, what is the topic of the next seminar that you are planning to attend?
No plans because we don't have such an active PMI chapter here. So I look forward for some industry training which might happen in some other time, like in 1 month's time.
Number 5, what is the best way to make a project fail?
It sounds like how to lose a project in 10 days, right? I don't
Yes.
know to tell you. I don't know to tell you the best way because I have not tried them. Maybe allocating an incapable person to manage the project. Maybe the best way to do that, yeah?
All right. Number 6, how do you like to celebrate a successful project?
Going out with the team, have lots of fun and reward them the way they like, maybe some award or some recognition to them.
Number 7, in your projects, where do you focus most of your attention in order to be successful?
It's people. They are the most important. They are the ones who make it or break it.
Number 8, if you weren't a project manager, what would you like to be?
It's very difficult to say. I have many interests: space, wildlife, fashion design, interior decor, yoga, so on. So it would be a profession related to any of that.
Number 9, what is the one thing that a project manager cannot live without?
Project? Because
That's
if
a
there's no
perfect
project,
answer,
there
I
is no
think.
project manager.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And finally, number 10, the oldest question in project management. What is more important in a project manager? Project management expertise or industry expertise?
I think it's project management expertise, but I must admit that in practice, no point of having a project manager who has project management experience if he doesn't have industry knowledge as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Thushara, for having been on the program today. I really appreciate your having given us the time here.
You're welcome.
And that was Thushara Vijayawardena talking to me about the challenges that she has faced and is still facing with the PMO that she manages in Sri Lanka. Let me remind you that you can find the books that my interview guests recommend in the helpful resources section on the pmpodcast.com. And of course, the book that Thushara mentioned today, From Bus to Bar, that has not yet been published. But by a strange coincidence, today I received an interview invite from Bas about the book. So over the coming weeks, I'm going to do an interview with Bas on his book. I believe it's called Surprise, You Are Now a Software Project Management, Software Development Project Manager. And you will hear that sometime in the future. Well, yeah, and that was it for today. So tune in again next week for episode number 49, when I will be welcoming Richard Larson and Elizabeth Larson from Watermark Learning. And then, after that, I want you all to join us for the 50th episode, when we will also be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of this program, with an interview with none other than Max Weidman. Yep, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, you can find us on the web at www.thepmpodcast.com or send your emails to I can't even speak today, to pmpodcast@gmail.com. And when you write, please don't forget to tell me where in the world you are writing from. When you stop by at thepmpodcast.com, don't forget to click on the link on the left-hand side labeled PM Templates to increase your productivity. These are best practice templates that will benefit both your project and your project management office. Finally, we have this. Today, it's the top 10 things you will never hear from a project manager, with many thanks to projectsmart.co.uk. So, the number 10 top thing that you will never hear from a project manager is, I didn't see that risk coming. Number 9. This whole project is based on a case study I read in the paper last week. Number 8. I'm not sure this project is going to deliver any benefits. Number 7. The project is running well ahead of schedule. Number 6. I think we'll miss that milestone by quite a long way. Number 5. We're charging you far too much to run this project. Number 4. There's far more budget and time than is needed. Number 3. I didn't actually have a plan. I was playing it more by the ear. Number 2. I can't take credit for that. And the number 1 thing that you will never hear from a project manager is, how about paying us based on the success of the project? Until next time.